Hi there, fellow traveler. Welcome aboard TravelVibes, your go-to channel for honest cruise tips and real-world travel wisdom. Whether you're planning your very first sailing or you've already racked up a dozen loyalty points with your favorite cruise line, you're in the right place. Cruising has a way of stealing our hearts. Those salty ocean breezes, all-you-can-eat dinners, the thrill of waking up in a new port. It's relaxing, exciting, and full of surprises. But let's be real, just because everyone raves about certain things on a cruise doesn't mean you have to love them too. If you've ever found yourself nodding along politely while secretly thinking, "Hey, not for me, then today's video is for you. We're about to explore 15 wildly popular cruise experiences that well, don't exactly love. Don't worry, I won't judge if you do. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and hit that subscribe button to join the Travel Vibes crew, where cruising isn't perfect, but it's always worth the journey. Ready to hear what made the list? Let's dive in. 1. The truth about cruise buffets that no one talks about. Let's start with the one thing cruise fans seem to adore across the board: buffets. They're everywhere: colorful trays, endless choices, and the promise of culinary freedom at sea. But here's my confession. For me, the buffet isn't paradise. It's a puzzle. Between balancing plates, dodging crowds, and scouting for an empty table, it starts to feel less like dining and more like survival of the hungriest. Sure, the variety is impressive. You've got everything from sushi to spaghetti, sometimes on the same plate, but I've found myself walking in circles with lukewarm food, wondering if I'm on a gourmet cruise or just a chaotic food court at sea. And let's be honest, sometimes convenience beats quantity. There's something peaceful about sitting down in the main dining room, having hot coffee poured for you, and not worrying about whether someone just sneezed near the salad bar. If you love the buffet, that's great. But if you're like me and crave a calmer, more intentional meal, you're definitely not alone. 2. Why bigger isn't always better: the mega ship myth. Now, let's talk about mega cruise ships. Those towering giants of the sea with zip lines, robot bartenders, and theme park vibes. For many travelers, they're the ultimate bucket list experience. After all, the commercials make them look like floating Disney worlds. But here's the truth. While the amenities are impressive, I often find myself missing the charm of mid-sized ships, where you can walk from bow to stern without needing Google Maps. On a mega ship, it's easy to feel lost. Not just physically, but emotionally too. The intimacy, the quiet moments, the friendly smiles you recognize after day 2, they tend to get lost in the crowd when you're sailing with 5,000 strangers. And let's not forget the tech troubles. With that many people trying to post sunset selfies at once, Wi-Fi becomes a luxury, not a given. Trying to send a good morning photo to your grandkids? You might need a signal boost and a little prayer. That's why I believe cruising isn't about how big the ship is. It's about how connected you feel, both to the journey and the people on board. 3. When cruise theme nights start to feel like homework. Now here's something that sparks debate among cruisers: theme nights. From all-white parties under the stars to Gatsby glam and pirate parades, they look amazing in photos. And yes, they can be fun, if you're prepared. But let's be honest, not everyone wants to spend the week before their cruise panic buying a feather boa, or apos, or glow sticks. And when you're trying to relax and unwind, dressing for a costume contest every night can start to feel more stressful than special. I've cruised with guests who loved getting decked out for every theme. But I've also met plenty of travelers who just want to wear a breezy sundress or polo shirt, grab a glass of wine, and enjoy the evening without asking, "Did I miss a memo?" Cruising should never make you feel left out or underdressed. That's why I believe fun should be optional, not expected. Because what really matters at sea isn't what you're wearing, it's how you feel while wearing it. 4. The pool deck: more chaos than calm. Now let's talk about the pool deck, often marketed as the ultimate spot for relaxation. Picture this: blue skies, sparkling water, and a sea breeze brushing your face. Sounds perfect, right? But reality can look a little different. Between the blaring music, the endless chair hogging with towels left for hours, and someone's portable speaker competing with the DJ, it quickly shifts from serenity at sea to spring break gone sideways. If you're someone who dreams of quiet corners, maybe with a book in one hand and iced tea in the other, the main deck might not feel like your happy place. You're not alone. In fact, many seasoned cruisers now look for ships with quiet zones, adults-only areas, or shaded retreats tucked away from the party vibe. Because cruising isn't just about fun, it's about freedom. And for some of us, peace and shade are the most luxurious perks of all. 5. The casino glow. Not all that glitters is gold. For many cruisers, the casino is a nightly thrill. Flashing lights, ringing bells, and the promise of a jackpot just one spin away, it's Vegas at sea. And if you're someone who enjoys the buzz and unpredictability, I say go for it. But for me, it's a pass. Every time I walk through the casino, I feel like I'm entering a different world. A bit louder, a bit hazier, and a lot smokier. Let's be honest. Ventilation isn't always a priority, and the air can feel like a throwback to the 1990s, before smoke-free zones were a thing. And while the slot machines are easy to play, the odds are rarely in your favor. I can't count how many people walk in smiling and walk out checking their credit card balances. Studies show that over 85% of casino revenue comes from slot machines alone. That's not by accident. So unless you're truly there for fun, not fortune, I say keep your dollars for a shore excursion or a spa treatment. At least with those, you're guaranteed to walk away with something more than regret. 6. Specialty dining. Luxury or just clever marketing? Now here's a question worth chewing on. When your cruise already includes 3-course meals, unlimited snacks, and dessert that melts in your mouth, do you really need to spend $65 on a steak? Sure, specialty restaurants look elegant. Dim lighting, artisan menus, beautifully plated entrees, they create a moment. But for many travelers, especially those cruising on a budget or with families, the upgrade starts to feel more like a guilt trip than a gourmet treat. The truth is, the included dining venues on most major cruise lines today are incredibly good. From Royal Caribbean's main dining room to Princess Cruises' rotating menus, you're already getting variety, freshness, and service, all without the upcharge. So while it's perfectly fine to indulge once or twice, don't feel pressured. Great food isn't always about price. Sometimes, the best memories come from a free sunset dinner with friendly conversation, not from a fancy cover charge. 7. Drink packages, a cruise deal or a pricey puzzle. Let's talk about one of the most hyped-up cruise add-ons out there. Drink packages. On paper, they sound like a dream. Unlimited cocktails, specialty coffees, fresh juices. It's like a vacation in every sip. But here's the catch. Many of these packages cost upwards of $80 a day. And unless you're planning to drink like it's New Year's Eve every single day, the math doesn't always add up. In fact, most people don't realize they need to consume 6 to 8 drinks daily just to break even. That includes days at port when you're not even on the ship. And let's not forget the tricky part. On some cruise lines, everyone in your cabin has to purchase the package if one person does. That can turn your relaxing sea days into a spreadsheet of calculations. Now, if you truly love variety or enjoy a glass of wine with every meal, go for it. But if you're someone who values flexibility and simplicity, a la carte may still be the smartest and most satisfying choice. 8. Do we really need dancing waiters with dinner? Let's be honest. Cruise dining is already an experience. You've got multiple courses, elegant plating, and ocean views that make every bite feel special. So why do some cruise lines feel the need to turn it into a Broadway show? Now don't get me wrong. I appreciate the hardworking crew, and their energy can be infectious. But not every meal needs a napkin wave or a synchronized shuffle to YMCA. Sometimes, you just want to savor your risotto without ducking out of a conga line. For guests who are new to cruising, it can feel festive and fun. But for repeat cruisers or those craving a more relaxed dinner, it can start to feel a little scripted. Even cruise forums like Cruise Critics show divided opinions. Some love the tradition, others quietly skip it. In the end, it's about balance. Entertainment is wonderful, but not when it overshadows the simple joy of conversation and connection at your table. 9. Cruise ducks and door decor. Cute or just confusing? Let's move on to a lighter topic that somehow divides cruisers more than you'd expect. Cruise ducks and cabin door decorations. If you've ever sailed before, you've probably seen rubber ducks tucked into portholes, hidden in plants, or sitting proudly on stair rails. Some are even tagged with Instagram handles and cruise dates. And the doors? Full-on displays. Magnets, signs, family photos, puns, even LED lights. For some, it's part of the fun. It creates a sense of community, especially for families or themed group cruises. But for others, especially new cruisers or solo travelers, it can feel more like walking through a college dorm hallway than a luxury getaway. Personally, I'm usually just trying to find my room number, not solve a scavenger hunt. I get it. It sparks joy and creativity, and there's nothing wrong with that, but if you're not into it, that's okay too. The best thing about cruising is that it lets you join the party or enjoy the peace on your terms. 10. Soft serve at sea. Why the hype? Let's talk about the legendary cruise soft serve. You know, the machine that seems to run 24/7 near the pool deck. It's free, it's cold, and it's everywhere. For some cruisers, grabbing a cone after lunch is a daily ritual. But for me, it's just, okay. I've always found the texture a bit airy, like whipped nostalgia more than real ice cream. And while it might bring back memories of childhood summers and drive-through treats, it's rarely creamy, rich, or satisfying enough to rave about. Of course, if you enjoy it, and many do, that's part of the charm of cruising. Small indulgences, big smiles. But if you're expecting something like gelato in Italy or artisan scoops from a boutique parlor, you might want to keep your expectations low and your cone upright. Cruising is full of little moments that matter, but not every one of them has to come with sprinkles. 11. Cruise shows, spectacular or snooze-worthy. Now this might be a little controversial, but let's talk about the production shows. You know the ones, big lights, bold costumes, and performers giving it their all. Some cruisers absolutely love them. They plan their dinners around Showtime, grab front row seats, and cheer like they're at Broadway. But me? I usually find myself checking the time halfway through wondering what's for breakfast tomorrow. To be fair, I've seen a few gems. Norwegian's Choir of Man or Royal Caribbean's Aqua Theater shows? Absolutely worth it. But most nights, the combination of post-dinner fullness and comfy theater seats just lulls me to sleep. And again, it's not about talent. The performers are incredibly skilled. It's just that, for some travelers, especially those who prefer interactive games, live music in the lounge, or quiet stargazing, a scripted show doesn't always hit the right note. So if you find yourself skipping the spotlight for something slower paced, trust me, you're not missing out. You're just cruising your own way. 12. Shore excursions. Why are we rushing on vacation? There's no denying the excitement of exploring new ports. Stepping off the ship to discover ancient ruins, vibrant markets, or breathtaking beaches is one of cruising's biggest highlights. But here's where the magic fades a little. When your tour starts at 6:45 a.m. and you're lining up in a crowded theater half asleep, clutching a muffin and your excursion sticker like it's a backstage pass. I get it. Logistics are tough when you've got 3,000 people on board. But wouldn't it be nice if cruise lines offered more staggered departure times, or even half-day tours for those of us who prefer to ease into the day? After all, many cruisers travel for freedom, not frenzy. We dream of slow mornings with coffee on the balcony, not racing to a bus before sunrise. So if you've ever skipped an early tour just to enjoy a peaceful ship while everyone's ashore, know this, you're not lazy. You're just choosing a different kind of adventure. 13. The Washy song. Charming or too much too early? If you've ever cruised with certain lines, you've probably heard it. The cheerful Washy jingle ringing out at the buffet entrance. It's catchy, it's harmless, and yes, it's meant to encourage good hygiene in a fun, friendly way. But let's be honest. At 7 a.m., before coffee, before sunlight has fully woken your brain, sometimes you just want to sanitize your hands in peace, without being serenaded by a crew member with a ukulele and foam sanitizer. Now don't get me wrong. I admire the enthusiasm. It creates a positive atmosphere and keeps health top of mind, especially in shared spaces like buffets. Some guests even say it's part of what makes their cruise memorable. But for others, especially introverts or early risers, it can feel like too much cheer, too soon. So while the washy moment might be beloved by many, it's perfectly okay if you'd rather hum your own tune, quietly, with clean hands. 14. The truth behind unlimited packages at sea. Here's something every cruiser should know. Unlimited doesn't always mean limitless. Whether it's unlimited dining, internet, or drink packages, there's often a hidden clause or subtle catch that doesn't show up until it's too late. You might think you've scored a great deal until you find out that unlimited Wi-Fi slows to a crawl after hitting a mysterious data cap. Or that unlimited cocktails really means 15 drinks per day. And yes, they do track it. And who knew specialty dining had blackout nights? It's not about being cynical, it's about being informed. Cruise lines use these offers to market convenience, but smart cruisers read the details and ask questions up front. That way, you're never surprised halfway through a sea day with a, "Sorry, your plan doesn't cover that." So before you swipe your card or upgrade your package, remember this. The best value isn't always in the label, it's in the fine print. 15. You don't have to love it all to love cruising. Let's end with a truth that every cruiser needs to hear. You don't have to love everything about cruising to be a true cruise lover. You can fall in love with the ocean breeze, yet avoid the pool deck altogether. You might treasure peaceful mornings on your balcony, but skip karaoke night without guilt. You can prefer a quiet massage over a heart-pounding zipline and still be just as much a part of cruise culture as anyone else. That's the beauty of it. Cruising isn't a checklist. It's a choose-your-own adventure, and you get to decide what joy looks like at sea. So the next time someone raves about something you politely passed on, smile. Because what makes cruising magical isn't doing what everyone else loves. It's discovering what you love most and embracing it fully. So the next time you find yourself on a ship surrounded by people raving about that dessert, that show, or that party, you have full permission to smile, nod, and silently disagree. Because the best way to cruise is your way. And if you ever feel like you're the only one skipping the buffet or passing on the theme night, just know, you're not alone. You're simply shaping a cruise experience that fits you. If this video helped you feel more seen, more human, and a little less pressured to love it all, give it a like, share it with your cruise buddy, and subscribe to Travel Vibes for more real-world cruise truths. Because in the end, you don't need to check every box to call yourself a cruiser. You just need to find your moments, your memories, and that one view off the railing that makes you fall in love with the sea, all over again. See you next time, and until then, cruise your way and cruise well.